are lots of things all around us, exciting things that surround us.
But how does it work?
Do you know?
How is it made?
Do you know? Things that go up, things that go down, things that go pop, things that go round, with special cameras to show you inside. It's going to be a big surprise.
But how does it work?
Do you know?
How is it made?
Do you know? Do you know?
Let's find out!
Hello, I'm Maddie. I've just been to the shops and I'm back with all the things I bought. Now, where is my key? Oh, there we go. There it is. This key helps me lock and unlock the front door. It's really clever. All I do is push it in this little hole called a keyhole. And as I turn the key, the door unlocks and it opens, just like magic. But it's not. Do you know how a lock works? How does it work?
A lock and key.
Can you see that when I turn the key, this bit of metal goes in and out? This is called the deadbolt. And when the door is locked, the deadbolt goes into this slot in the door frame so that it won't move when I go to open it. But when the door is unlocked, the deadbolt moves out of this slot and the door can open once again. But do you know what happens inside the lock? How does the key make the deadbolt move in and out? Let's find out, shall we? I've got 3 different locks here, but they all work in the same way. Why don't we use my special camera to take a closer look and see how they work? This is the key. And this bit is the keyhole. The key goes into the keyhole and into a tube, and the tube is called a barrel. Now, when you turn the key inside the barrel, this bit, the deadbolt, moves in and out. Can you see that? And it's the deadbolt that locks the door. This lock and key is just like the one on the front door, but it's useful because we can see what's going on inside it. Great, isn't it? But what's really clever is that this lock will only work with this key. No other key will turn this lock. So what is it that makes this key so special? If you look closely, you can see the key has lots of lumps and bumps, and these bumps are sometimes called teeth.
They look a bit like teeth, don't they?
The teeth on keys are all different, and they come in all shapes and sizes. So, how do the teeth help work the lock? When you put a key in a lock, it goes through the keyhole and into the metal tube called the barrel. Inside the barrel are lots of little metal pins, and each of these pins has a special position. As the key goes in, the teeth on the key push the pins down, and the pins then ping back into the gaps. Only if the pins are in their special position will you hear a click. This means you can turn the key, which makes the deadbolt move out to lock the door. Or in, which unlocks the door so it can be opened.
So these are all the teeth on my key, and some are longer than others. Can you see? Now, I want to see these teeth inside the special lock. Now, as the key goes in, can you see that the teeth are making the pins move up and down? Can you hear that? I love the sound of those pins clicking into their special positions. And once the pins are in the special position, I can now turn the key, which moves the deadbolt in and out, just like that. But the really clever thing is that every lock is different, and the only key that will open this lock is this one. If I try to use the front door key in this lock, look, it doesn't work. And that's because the only door this key will open is the front door. Amazing. I think locks and keys are so clever. Do you? What was your favourite bit about seeing how they worked?
Can you remember what the lumps and bumps on a key are called? That's right, teeth. Did you hear the sound of the pins clicking into their special positions? And did you see the deadbolt moving in and out as the key was turned?
There are locks and keys all over this house. Let's see if we can find some. Here's one on my secret drawer. Here's one on the window handle. It's much smaller than the key for the front door, isn't it? Can you see how different the teeth are? Even the garden doors have a lock. I like looking out into the garden, although it's a bit cold today. Do you know what this is? Yes, it's glass. Glass is incredible because you can see through it. So even though it's a chilly day, I can see into the garden without getting cold. But do you know how glass is made? Let's find out.
How is it made?
Glass.
There's something here that's used to make glass. Do you know what it is? It's something I'm playing with. Can you guess? It's sand. Yes, sand is the thing you need to make glass. The same stuff you used to build sandcastles with. But do you know how sand is made into glass? Let's find out.
Inside this glass factory, sand is turned into glass. The glassmakers here create vases to put flowers in, colourful bottles, and lots of different glass shapes called ornaments.
All these lovely glass objects start out like this. They look like little rocks, don't they? Well, they are. They're little rocks made of sand mixed with chemicals, which turns them into white pebbles. But how does this turn into something beautiful like this?
This is Bruce, the glassmaker, and he puts our sandy pebbles into a very hot oven called a kiln.
It's so hot, I have to stand way away from it. Can you see the fire inside? That's what's making it so hot.
The sandy pebbles stay in the kiln for a whole night, where they get hot and melt.
The sand has got so hot, it's changed completely. It's turned from sand into glass. But it's not like the glass in your windows quite yet. This is molten glass, and at this stage, it's runny, like honey.
What you can see is red because it's so hot, but when it cools down, it will become clear, like the glass in your windows.
But how does Bruce turn all that molten glass into something as beautiful as this?
First, Bruce needs to make the coloured pieces that make the patterns on the vase. So, he heats up some blue glass to make it soft, and then he blows into a long metal pole called a blowpipe, which makes the glass fill up with air like a balloon. This is called glass blowing.
He's going to blow it so it's very, very thin.
And that means he can smash the balloon into hundreds of tiny pieces of blue glass. glass is very dangerous once it's broken, so you should never touch or go near it. Bruce has special tools to do it safely. With the coloured bits ready, it's time to make the vase. So the next thing Bruce does is gather some of the runny glass onto the end of his pipe. Bruce dips it into the broken pieces of glass, and this will make the blue blobs of colour on our vase.
Listen to that. It's like the sound of a crunching crisp packet.
He then puts it back into the kiln.
Look at that. Can you see the blue glass shrinking?
The kiln is so hot, the blue pieces are melting into the hot, sticky glass on the end of the pole. Bruce then adds more colour to our vase.
We've got some green, blue, pink, and even some red spots. I've got my special camera with me so we can see all of the colour that's been added to the glass in detail.
Wow, can you see those colours? Don't they look pretty?
At the moment, the glass just looks like a sticky blob, but we want it to become a nice round shape. So how do you think Bruce is going to do that?
After the colour is added, Bruce dips it back into the kiln to add another layer of runny glass. To make the vase round, he uses a special tool called a wooden block. And then he blows down into the pipe to make it bigger.
The glass is the right size, but to get it the shape we want, we have to flatten it. And to do that, Bruce rubs it onto a piece of cork, which is a type of wood. But the glass is so hot, the wood sometimes catches fire. Can you see?
This is very dangerous, but Bruce has been specially trained to do it. The vase is finished, but it's still very hot, which is why it's so red. It's left to cool down for a few days, and then we'll be able to see its colours properly.
And after 3 days cooling down in the kiln, this is our final piece.
A wonderful glass vase. Look at the beautiful colours.
I loved seeing how glass was made. Did you? What was your favourite bit?
Can you remember the name of the long pole that was used to make the glass? That's right, it's called the blowpipe. Did you hear the crunchy sound made by the runny glass being dipped into the broken pieces? And did you see all those colours in the vase? Weren't they pretty?
So the next time you see a beautiful glass ornament or look out of a window, remember that all glass comes from sand. It's getting a bit chilly. Let's shut the door. And now you know how a lock works too, with a key and its special teeth. See you next time. Hello, I'm Maddie, and today I'm relaxing at home. What do you like to do to relax? I like reading. Sometimes I play games. And I enjoy drawing pictures. Can you see what I've drawn? That's right, it's a television. Do you like watching television?
You can watch television programmes in lots of different ways. On a tablet, on the computer,
Or snuggled up on the sofa watching the television. But how do the pictures appear on the screen? Do you know how a television works? Let's find out.
how does it work?
Television.
Most televisions we enjoy watching programmes and films on have the same main parts. This is a remote control. It has lots of buttons on it, and we use it to turn the television off and on.
We can also use the remote control to turn the sound level, called the volume, up or down, making it louder. Well, that's really loud now, isn't it? Or quieter. Now it sounds really quiet. But the biggest part of a television is this rectangle here. Do you know what it's called? It's called the screen. And when the television is turned off, the screen goes black. And when the television is turned on, the picture appears so we can watch a programme. But how do the colours and pictures appear on the screen? I think we need to take a closer look.
The screens on mobile phones, tablets and televisions are made up of thousands of tiny squares called pixels. Under a magnifying glass, one tiny pixel is a square block filled with colour. But if we zoom into the pixel closer than we can see with our eyes or a magnifying glass, each pixel is made from 3 different coloured lights called subpixels. The lights are red, green and blue. When all 3 lights are turned right down, the pixel will be black. When all 3 lights are at full brightness, the pixel will be white. When the 3 lights are turned up or down to different levels, across the whole screen, we see millions of different colours. And all the tiny pixels together, filled with different colours, make the pictures we see on our screens.
You should never sit too close or try to see the television pixels yourself, so I've got my special microscopic camera to look closely for us. The microscopic camera can see really tiny things and make them look much bigger. Let's use it to see if we can see the lights that make up a pixel on a television screen. But first, I'm going to pause the picture so that it stops moving. Now, let's put my microscopic camera on this white area just here and have a look at what we can see. Wow, look at that. We can see lots and lots of sets of coloured stripes. They are red, green and blue.
These are the subpixels.
And each set of those stripes makes up 1 pixel on the TV screen. Now, because these lights here are turned up to full brightness, our eyes see those pixels as the colour white. So now if I move the microscope to this black area of colour here, now the microscope can't see anything at all. That's because the lights in these pixels, the red, green and blue lights, have been turned right down. So the microscope can't see the pixels, but our eyes see that colour as black. If I try putting the microscope camera on this purpley colour there, look! Now we can see a lot of blue light and a little bit of red light. That's because blue and red make purple. And if I try to put the microscope on this orange area here, the microscope can see lots of red and a little bit of green light, and our eyes see that as orange. Now I want to try something. I'm going to press play so the pictures start moving again. And if the pictures are moving, the colours will change, so the lights in the pixels should change too. Let's give it a go. There they went. Now we've got green lights, blue lights. Green and blue, multicoloured. The lights in the pixels are changing as the pictures move so that we can see millions of different shades of colour. When we watch a television screen, the pixels are much further away and we see those pixels as different colours, and those colours make up the pictures on the television screen. I loved finding out how the pictures on televisions and other screens work, did you? What was your favourite part?
Do you remember what the red, green and blue lights are called that make up the different colours on our screens? That's right, they're called subpixels. Did you hear the sound from the television get quieter and quieter as I turned the volume right down? And did you see the way the subpixels changed when I pressed play on the television?
When I watch
watch television in the living room, sometimes I like to sit on the floor because it's really comfortable. Do you know why that is? That's because the floor has carpet on it. Carpet helps to keep the floor warm and sometimes it feels really bouncy. But there are lots of different types of carpet. You can get carpet for living rooms, multicoloured carpet rugs like this one, tough carpet mats, and even carpet for the stairs. But do you know how carpet is made? Let's find out.
How is it made?
Carpet.
I've come to a carpet factory. It's very big, very noisy, and full of enormous machines that make carpets. Here they make over 300,000 square metres of carpet every year that go onto big rolls like that. That's enough carpet to cover 42 football pitches. Carpets can be made from lots of different materials, but all the carpets in this factory are made from wool.
Wool comes from sheep. Their woolly coats, called fleeces, are removed in the summer to keep them cool.
Lots of things are made from wool, like my woolly hat, jumpers, and even socks. A carpet is made of lots of short threads called tufts, and I've got some tufts just here. If we take a look, can you see them in the carpet?
The tufts are fixed into place by weaving them into rougher threads on the back of the carpet. There are two types of these threads: wefts that go across and warps that go up and down.
But it's quite tricky to see, so I'm going to use my special camera so that we can take a closer look. This is a microscope and it lets me see small things much, much bigger. Look! Now we can really see the wefts and the warps. The wefts are the bits that are going across the carpet and they look a little bit like straw, don't they? And then can you see the thinner white threads that are going over and under the wefts? Those are called the warps. And those wefts and warps work together to trap the tufts. And that makes our carpet. It's clever, isn't it?
Before it arrives at the factory, the wool has been spun into something called yarn.
But to be turned into carpet, it has to be wound onto reels like this. This is called a bobbin.
And to make a big patterned carpet, we need thousands of them.
Wow, now this is a lot of brightly coloured bobbins. This machine is called a creel, and there are around 13,000 bobbins loaded onto it. The yarn is pulled off all of these bobbins and is gently guided from holes up here all the way down to some holes down there, and that stops all of the yarn getting tangled. But it just looks like a beautiful rainbow spider's web, doesn't it?
All of the coloured threads of yarn then feed into a huge machine called a loom.
A loom is a machine that turns yarn into carpet through a process called weaving.
The loom weaves the yarn into the weft and warp threads that we saw earlier. It looks incredible, but it all happens so fast. Let's look in more detail.
This is my special slow motion camera, and it lets me see things that are happening really quickly, much slower. Let's go.
First, the coloured yarn is cut into tufts. Look! A shiny metal claw called a gripper holds the yarn in place. Then a knife slides across to cut it. The gripper pulls the tufts down to where the weft and warp threads are. A fast metal stick called a rapier pulls the weft thread across, while metal teeth weave the warp threads under and over. This traps the tufts in place, a bit like a sandwich. This loom makes 8 square metres of carpet every hour. That's the same size as 4 single beds. After it comes off the loom, any little holes that are left are stitched by hand. To make extra sure that the tufts don't fall out, a coating is put on the back of the carpet. And the coating is made of a material called latex. It's a white sticky material that looks a little bit like glue. It's heated as it travels on rollers until it dries and hardens. I can feel the heat though. It's really warm in here. Lastly, the carpet is rolled onto this raised floor where it gets a final check. All the carpets are then wrapped in plastic and taken to the storeroom. And here we have some finished carpet, wrapped up and ready to be rolled out across floors all over the country. I loved seeing how carpets were made. What was your favourite bit? Do you remember what the rolls of wool were called? That's right, they're called bobbins. Did you hear the sound of the loom weaving the carpet? And did you see the gripper gripping the tufts of yarn? So the next time you sit down or play on a rug or a carpet, you'll know how it's made. And now you know how a television works to play your favourite programme. Right, I think it's time to watch my favourite programme. I'll see you soon. And today, cleaning the windows at home. There we go. That looks great. With my little step, I can reach the top of the window safely. But how do you think we clean the windows on a really, really tall building? Like this one. Wow! That is really high. I'd need something much taller than my little step to reach the windows at the very top. Something like this. Look how high it is. That is a window cleaning cradle. But how does the window cleaning cradle get all the way up there, and how does it help the window cleaners? Do you know how a window cleaning cradle works? Let's find out. How does it work?
Window cleaning cradle.
Can you guess where I am? That's right, I'm on the roof of the building. You must never go onto a roof of a building without a grown-up, but I've got special permission to be up here. This is where the window cleaning cradle is kept, and the window cleaner will stand in there when they're cleaning windows. And can you see the ropes? They're made of metal and hold the cradle safely in the air. We call them cables. The cables are attached to a crane. This is called a telescopic jib arm, and it's so strong it can lift 2,000 kilograms. That's about the same weight as a young white rhino. But the cradle, the cables, and the telescopic jib arm all work together, a bit like an arm. They can pick things up, put things down, and it can pivot, it can move from right to left. And the telescopic jib arm can also get shorter and longer. The telescopic jib arm uses something called hydraulics. When oil is poured into the hydraulics, it pushes a cylinder out, and this makes the arm longer. When that oil is let out again, it pulls the cylinder back in, making the arm shorter. And to move the window cleaning cradle from left to right so it can clean all the windows, it uses tracks. Can you think of something else that moves on tracks? That's right, a train! But to find out how the window cleaning cradle and the crane that moves along the tracks work together so that a window cleaner can reach all the windows, I think we need to take a closer look. Inside the crane is a winch, which is fixed to the window cleaning cradle by metal cables. The window cleaner presses a button, which makes the winch turn, winding the long metal cable onto it.
and lifting the window cleaning cradle off the ground. The crane turns and the window cleaner presses another button, so oil flows into the hydraulics. The telescopic jib arm moves out, and the window cleaning cradle moves out with it. Another button unwinds the metal cable, lowering the window cleaning cradle, so the window cleaner can start to clean. When one line of windows is clean, the winch winds the cable up, lifting the window cleaning cradle back to the top. The crane moves along tracks, and the window cleaning cradle is lowered, and the next line of windows are cleaned. And this happens over and over until all the windows are sparkling clean.
Wow, that was so interesting. I think we should see it for real using my special cameras.
And today I'm using 4 special cameras. One on the telescopic jib arm, another looking at the tracks, one on the side, and one on my head, so you can see what I see.
This is Bill. He's a window cleaning cradle operator, and he's given me special permission to go inside the cradle as he cleans the windows.
And I'm wearing a special harness and yellow jacket to keep me safe when the cradle moves.
The telescopic jib arm is now pivoting, taking us over the edge of the building.
Look, can you see the hydraulic arm pushing the cradle out?
Wow. We are so high up.
And when we're in position, it's time to go down.
Bye! The winch is unwinding the cable, which is lowering the window cleaning cradle down to the floors below. Now the cradle's been lowered to the right position, Bill can clean the windows.
Great job, Bill.
This window is now nice and clean, but we've still got to clean the rest of the windows around the building.
So we have to go back up to the top.
And now the tracks can move us left and right. Can you hear that sound? That's the crane telling us that it's moving. Oh, here we go. Bye! That was brilliant! I loved finding out how a window cleaning cradle works. What was your favourite part?
Do you remember the name of the metal ropes that carry the window cleaning cradle? That's right, we call them cables. Did you hear the sound the crane made when it moved along the tracks? And did you see my 4 special cameras when they filmed Bill and I cleaning the windows?
When it's really sunny, tall buildings like this one and all of those cast big dark shapes. They're called shadows, but you don't need to be as tall as a skyscraper to have a shadow. We make shadows too. You can make different shapes. But do you know how a shadow's made? Let's find out.
How is it made?
Shadow.
Hello, Maddie. Have you ever made shadow puppets with your hands before? It's really fun, isn't it? Isn't that right, dog? Yes. And all you need is a lamp like this one and a flat blank wall. When I put my hand in front of the lamp, my hand blocks some of the light coming from it, and it makes this patch of darkness on the wall. And this patch of darkness is my shadow. But what's happening to make my shadow? Light travels in a straight line, but when light can't pass through an object like my hand, it makes a shadow. We call things that you can't see through opaque. But what do you think will happen if we try this again with something you can see through, like bubbles?
Can you see? My hand and the bubble wand are creating a shadow, but we can see through the bubble. We call this transparent.
We can see the outline of the bubble
as a shadow, can't we? That's because it's made of a thin layer of water and soap, which stops some of the light. But did you know shadows can change shape depending where the light and the object are? What do you think will happen if I move my hand closer to the wall and further away from the light? The shadow gets smaller, and that's because the further away an object is from the light, the less light it blocks out. So, what do you think will happen if I move my hand closer to the light? Do you think the shadow will get bigger or smaller? Let's see. That's right, it gets bigger. And that's because the closer the object is to the light, the more light it blocks out. Shadows can also change size and shape if the light moves. To show you, I'm going to need my assistant, Mini Maddie, and a torch. So, right now, the light is quite high above Mini Maddie, and can you see she's making a short shadow? That's because the light is only hitting the top part of her body. She's not blocking much of the light. But watch what happens if I move the light down. Whoop. Now her shadow is much longer. That's because more of her body is blocking the light, so she's making a longer shadow. Can you see? As I lower the light, the shadow gets longer. And as I bring it higher, it gets shorter. But I want to see what will happen if I try to make shadows with a much bigger light. Like the sun. We should never look directly at the sun because it can hurt our eyes, but we can look at the shadows that it makes. And look, here is my shadow right there. And look, if I dance, my shadow dances too. Listen to the sound my feet are making on the gravel. The light has travelled nearly 100 million miles from space. That's a really, really long way. And on that long journey, nothing has got in the way of the light till it reached this garden, when I got in the way and have made this shadow. But our planet, planet Earth, is always moving, so our shadows change their size and shape. And to show you what this looks like, I'm going to use my special time-lapse camera. It lets me film things that take a really long time, but when we watch it back, it will look as if it's happening much quicker. I'm going to point the camera this way so we can see how the shadows being cast by the house and the toys in the garden change throughout the day. It's recording. Look, there's the shadow the house is making. Can you see it moving? Oh wait, the shadow from the house has gone away. That's because clouds in the sky are stopping the light from the sun reaching the earth. They're making really big shadows because they are closer to the sun. Only when the clouds move can the light from the sun reach the garden, so the house can make more shadows. And look, on this time lapse, there aren't any clouds. You can see the shadows getting smaller. Rocks behind the camera are blocking the sunlight, which makes a shadow. But as the earth moves, more light hits the floor and not the rocks, so the shadows get shorter. Isn't that amazing? As the earth turns, time passes and the sun moves across the sky, and that's why shadows change size and shape. We loved finding out how shadows are made. What was your favourite bit? Do you remember what we call things that light can't travel through? That's right, we say they are opaque. Did you hear the sound of my feet as my shadow and I danced on the gravel? And on my special time-lapse camera, did you see the shadow of the house move as the earth turned? So the next time you're out for a walk and you see your shadow, you'll know how it's made by blocking out the light from the sun. And the next time you see someone high up in a building cleaning windows, you'll know how the window cleaning cradle works to help them clean the window safely.
Right, I'm off to clean some more windows. I'll see you next time. Hi, I'm Maddie, and today I'm at a bowling alley. Have you ever been bowling? It's fun, isn't it? First, you get some special shoes. Bowling balls can be different weights. Some are light, some are really heavy, but this one is just right for me. The strip that you bowl the ball down is called the lane.
And the aim of the game is to knock over as many pins as possible with the ball.
And these bits are the bumpers. They'll stop the bowling ball going down into the gutter here on the side. And now for the fun bit, trying to knock the pins down at the end of the bowling alley. Here goes. Yes! But how do I get my ball back, and how do the pins get tidied so that I can have another go? Do you know how a bowling alley works? Let's find out. How does it work?
Bowling alley.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pins. Can you see what shape the pins make? It's got 3 sides. That's right, it's a triangle. They're arranged in a triangle shape so that if the ball hits the front pin just right, there's more chance of them hitting one another and them all getting knocked down in one go. And if that happens, we call it a strike, like this. Most bowling alleys have the same parts. This is a ball return. It's where you pick up your ball ready to bowl, and it's where it comes back to after you've had your turn. Did you hear the sound of them all crashing down? But wait, a machine has picked up some of the pins and swept the others away, and the ball is back where it started. To see how all this happened, I think we need to take a closer look.
When we roll the ball, it travels down the alley. Just before the ball hits the pins, it breaks a beam of invisible light. A message goes to a sensor and up to a computer, which controls a long bar called the rake to tell it to come down. At the same time, the pins that are still standing are picked up out of the way by a machine called the top deck. So the rake sweeps the ball and the knocked over pins to the back of the pit area. The sensors count how many pins have been knocked down. The sensor sends another message to the computer to tell us the score on the scoreboard. At the back of the pit area, a lift carries the knocked over pins up to the top of the machine. The standing pins are then put back in place, ready for the bowler's next go. Whilst the pins are being reset, the ball rolls down the tunnel underneath the floor of the lane and goes back to the ball return. Big rollers push the ball back up, ready for the bowler's next go.
That was really clever, wasn't it? But I think we should see the machines in action for ourselves. Now, you should never go down to the pit area of a bowling alley, but this is Ken. He works on the machines here and has given me special permission to show you how everything works. This is exciting, isn't it? This is the back of the lane that we're using, and down there is where the pins are scooped onto the lift. But the machinery is all inside these cages to keep everything safe. So I bought my special camera on a long stick so we can put it over the top and see the pins moving.
Look, can you see the pins coming up the lift one at a time?
And on the top we can see the pins being sorted, ready to go back again for another go.
And there they go.
But how does the ball get back to the ball return so that we can have another go? Come down here. Someone's using this lane now. And look, after a ball has been bowled, it's sorted to the side and it goes down that little tunnel. What do you think happens to it next?
Ken's taken the lane apart so we can see for ourselves.
Did you see that? It happened really fast. The ball travelled all the way down the tunnel back to the ramp. The rollers grip the ball and move it to the back, to the front and to the back again in a wiggly shape. Just like that. And now the ball and the pins are ready for another go. I loved seeing how a bowling alley works. What was your favourite bit?
Do you remember what the part is called that sweeps the pins away?
That's right, it's called the rake. Did you hear the sound as the ball crashes into the pins? And did you see the pins go up the lift, ready to be put back on the lane?
I love bowling. It's a really fun thing to do with family and friends or as a birthday party treat. What else is fun at birthday parties? I like party hats and candles on a cake. And I really love surprises, like wrapped presents. What's this? It's a ribbon that's been tied into a bow. But do you know how ribbon is made? Let's find out.
How is it made?
Ribbon.
Ribbon is made here in a ribbon factory. Every year this factory makes 50 million metres of ribbon. That's enough to tie around the whole world and have a big bow on top. And they make loads of different colours.
Like green ribbon, stripy ribbon, and even ribbon with stars on it.
But today they're making a type of check pattern like this. It's called tartan. Let's see how it's made. To make ribbon, we start with this,
A type of yarn called polyester. And this one is made from recycled plastic bottles.
This yarn is very thin and it's been wound neatly onto one of these called a tube.
So to make a piece of ribbon as wide as this, lots and lots of threads of yarn have to be woven together.
But it's so thin, it's quite tricky to see. I've got my special microscope camera with me and it lets me see really small things much bigger. You ready? Oh, there you go. Just look at that pattern and all of those colours. Can you see the threads of yarn that go from the top to the bottom? Well, they're called the warps of yarn. And then, can you see the threads that go across from side to side, from left to right? Well, those are called the wefts. Those warps and wefts weave together to make the ribbon nice and strong.
But how is it made?
First, 95 tubes of yarn are put onto this. It's called a warping machine. And the area with all of the tubes of yarn on it is called the creel. Just look at all of those different colours. Steve loads the tubes onto the creel in a special pattern. And that pattern will make the tartan design. When the machine is turned on, the yarn is pulled off the tubes and it's fed through the creel, all the way over here. It travels over a roller and goes through this metal part called the reeds. It stops the yarn getting tangled a little bit like a hair comb, and then finally it's wound onto the beam. And look, we've got all of the right colours, but it's stripy. That's not a tartan design, is it? The beam has been taken off the warping machine and has now been placed on the weaving machine. It's the weaving machine's job to weave the wefts. Those are the yarns that go across from side to side through the warps, the yarns that go up and down. The warp yarns are reeled off the beam and the weft yarns are pulled off these tubes down here. And this is where they meet to be woven together. And something called the front reed is pushing it together to make sure that weave is nice and tight. But it's really noisy, isn't it? What does it sound like? It's a little bit like a helicopter, but it's noisy because it's working so fast. It's quite difficult to sing. I've set up my super slow motion camera so that we can see the needle weave the weft over or under the warps. You see how it looks?
Look, can you see the warp yarns? There are 2 layers of them, top and bottom. This means the weft yarns can be woven through them easily. The warp yarns then swap places. The top ones go to the bottom and the bottom ones to the top. And the weft yarns go back again, making the pattern. And can you see the front reed pushing it all together? It all happens 16 times every single second. So even in slow motion, it's still quite fast.
That is incredible, isn't it? And this machine will make tartan ribbon at this speed for 30 days before it changes its design. And in this factory, there are 136 weaving machines. That's a lot of ribbon. Next, the ribbon is put through a finishing machine. The ribbon is rolled over these drums called hot tins. I can really feel the heat. They press the ribbon to make sure it's nice and flat. It's a little bit like ironing your clothes at home with a steam iron. Once it's all been nicely pressed, it goes on a journey to the makeup room. Let's follow it using my special camera. Bye!
Oh wow, look at it go!
There you are.
Lastly, the ribbon is fed onto a reeling machine, which winds the ribbon onto reels. Before a special pair of scissors snip off the end.
And there you have it, a finished reel of tartan ribbon. And the great thing about ribbon is that it can be used again and again. You could even tie it in your hair, like this. I loved seeing how ribbon is made. What was your favourite bit?
Do you remember the 2 names for the yarn in the ribbon? They go up and down, left and right. That's right, they're called warps and wefts. Did you hear the sound that the weaving machine made? It sounded a bit like a helicopter. And did you see all those different colours of yarn on the creel machine? It was like a rainbow.
So the next time you see a present wrapped in ribbon, you'll know how the ribbon was made. And if you go bowling, you know how a bowling alley works. I'll see you next time.